Hi, my name is Jacob Hall, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how to use the Rodecaster Pro to record your very own podcast. So first things first, I just want to tell you a little bit about how to set up the Rodecaster Pro. So before you even turn it on, you're going to want to make sure you got two things. First, you want to make sure that it's plugged in. So you got a power cable here. Make sure it's plugged into an outlet. If you have a backup battery to plug it into, that would be ideal, just in case the power goes out. And then you want to make sure you got some microphones to use for your podcasting. So today we've got these 4 microphones connected to these boom stands that are attached to this table. And then those all have individual XLR cables that connect to the mic just like this. And then those wires run right into the board. You got mics 1 through 4 connected into the back of the Rodecaster Pro right here. So you got to make sure that all of those are firmly connected to the Rodecaster Pro. And then that is all you need. We're ready to turn it on. So you just hit the power button right here. And then when you're done with that, you're going to see all the lights turning on the top of the Rodecaster Pro. And when you have your podcasters sit down at the table, make sure that they're all comfortable with the volume of their headphones. And if you want to change the volume, you have individual volume controls here on the top right of the Rodecaster Pro. All right, so the Rodecaster is on right here, and you can see on the screen the levels of each of these microphones. So these are all individual channels that correspond with the mics that are plugged in to the back of the Rodecaster Pro. So for example, here's mic 1. You're going to want to make sure on the bottom that if that red light is on, it's muted. So you're going to make sure it's unmuted. And then now you have volume control of mic 1. So if one person has a particularly loud voice or their microphone's really close or far away from them, you might want to adjust that before recording. So once you are ready to record and everyone's set up, you will want, as the user of the Rodecaster, to also be listening to the audio. So I have my own headphones here, and I can plug them into the headphone jack on the front. So this is just a monitor headphone jack that allows me to listen to what's going on as well as the podcasters. So I'm going to put my headphones on here, and I'll be able to hear what everyone's saying in the podcast without taking up one of those 4 headphone jacks. So when you're ready to record, you're going to want to make sure that you have a micro SD card for your podcast correctly installed into the Rodecaster. When I put mine in there, it will be ready again for recording. So now that I have the right micro SD card installed so that I will get the Rodecaster recordings, we're ready to record. This is the recording button right here, and if I want it to start recording, I can hit that button and it'll turn red, and then you can see that it's recording on the screen here, and if I were to hit that again, it'll stop the recording. And for each individual recording, there will be a different file on the micro SD card. You've got your individual channels here, so channels 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then these are the sliders to control those channels. You also have sliders to control the volume of your USB input, your auxiliary input, and your Bluetooth input, as well as sound effects that are loaded via the micro SD card. So I'm just going to hit that green recording button, and it immediately turns red, and on the screen you can see that it is recording. We got that red light going. So that's all you need to do to start a podcast recording on the Rodecaster. And now the Rodecaster is recording the individual audios of everyone. So on that micro SD card, when we stop the recording, we will now have a WAV file, WAV file on that micro SD card that has individual audio tracks of each person, so that we can edit one person louder or softer than the others. We can cut the tracks individually on top of each other. It gives us a lot of leeway when it comes to editing the podcast. So now I want to talk to you a little bit about the other features of the Rodecaster. We've got these other channels here. So we have a USB channel that can control the input of a USB device. So back here we have this USB-C jack right next to the power button, or the power jack I should say. And if we plug that one in, we'll be able to plug that into a laptop, phone, anything that we like. And you can get adapter cables to plug this into many other devices. And if you do that, you'll be able to play audio out of your laptop or other device into the Rodecaster, and it will be recorded as well as the podcasters, and they'll be able to hear the input audio. So that is the channel for that. The phone jack is just an auxiliary input that I believe is input from some sort of device, maybe a phone or other audio player, you could plug it right in there, and then you have individual control of that channel right here as well as that USB channel. It's easy, I believe, as hitting that button. It'll show that it is discoverable via Bluetooth on your phone. You can connect to it as a Bluetooth device, and then you'll be able to control the Bluetooth volume here as well. So that's a really easy way to connect your phone if you want to just play some music or something really quickly without bothering with the cables. And then finally, you can have some sound effects or other audio loaded onto your SD card that are usable in the Rodecaster. So it comes with some preloaded effects, and you can add more on the micro SD card. There's a whole instruction manual in the instructions for how to use that specifically. But then you'll be able to control the volume of those individually, and you'll be able to control what sounds are being made, and it's a nice way to add a little effect in the middle of your podcast just very easily without manually playing it through your phone or the USB. So yeah, that's a basic overview of how to use the Rodecaster. I hope that you found it helpful. And if you have any other questions about how to use the Rodecaster or would like someone to walk you through the steps, please come contact us at STLI, the Studio for Teaching and Learning Innovation, and we'd be happy to walk you through how to use the Rodecaster more specifically or help you with your specific setup to make sure that your podcast goes well.